Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Adamant Algorithm. This is Surain. It's been a while since I came with a new video and I'm at it again. So I will be bringing up more concepts to my YouTube channel in the weeks to come. Well, in this particular video, we are going to learn how to set up version control for our Unity projects. Of course, this video has been designed for beginners, and even if you are an intermediate user, if you are not sure about version controlling with Unity projects, this video will definitely help you out. Okay, so first of all, let's go ahead and take a look at what is called a version control. Well, version control is nothing but more like an advanced undo function for your projects. This is just for your understanding purposes. What I mean by undo is, in a huge project like Unity, you cannot actually go back in time. All right. So those kind of situations, version controls comes really handy, because that will allow you actually to swap between your previous version or a previous state of your project if something goes wrong in the current version. Not only that, especially if you're working with the team, several people in your team would be working with the same files or same project, and they will be making changes every now and then. So how all of your team, every member in your team should make sure that they are working with the current version of the file or the project, and version control definitely helps in that. Okay, so in this video, I'm a huge fan of SourceTree. Forget about being a fan. This is free, first of all, a free Git client for Windows and Mac, and it's absolutely 100% free for you guys to use. So how for this, in this video, I'm going to use SourceTree as my version controller, and I'm going to help you to understand how to set it up with your Unity project. First of all, just go ahead and download the SourceTree application from sourcetreeapp.com. So after downloading it, it will be, if you are in Windows, it will be a exe file, or if it is a Macintosh, you know what file format would that be, and just open up the setup file. While setting up your SourceTree, these are the stages that would come across. Okay, you would come across. The first thing that it would ask after you click install is registration. Okay, so in this, you don't have to do anything, because we are not going to use Bitbucket server or Bitbucket. This is from SourceTree themselves. We are not going to use any of it. So what you need to do is just click on skip. Okay, so the second screen that goes to the registration, it will ask you what you want to install. Well, basically, I would suggest you to install only the Git, and we are not going to use the Mercurial concept along with this. This is actually an advanced thing that comes with the SourceTree. Most of the times you wouldn't need it. If you need more information about Mercurial, you can do a very quick Google search, will give you enough information. And I'm not going to actually touch any of these advanced options. Normally it comes minimized, so if you extend this, you could see these two options. So I'm not do any of this. So just go ahead and do only a Git and click on next. So in the next screen, you will say it will start downloading your Git according to your system configuration, and once it is 100%, it says the tool installation is completed, and once you actually click next, so you will be taken to your preferences. This is your name, okay, and what is your contact address. Okay, and this is used in your version control, because if you are logging in from a different computer, this will definitely help you to authenticate your project. Okay, so once you're done with that, this is the screen that would welcome you once you open the SourceTree for the first time. Okay, so hereafter I'm going to actually take it further by opening the SourceTree in my system. Okay, so I click on SourceTree. It's loading up. Okay, as I told you, this is the first screen that welcomes you. Now if you take a look at it on the top, okay, it says local. Okay, so we did not configure our remote, so the thing is, do not worry about it at the moment. The local is selected, and you have a very important button here called create. Okay, we will come back to it real quick. Before that, let's set up our Unity. for this, since this is a beginner video, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a new project. Okay, so I'm going to create a 3D project, and I'm going to see setup version control, anything. My project name is setup version control, and I'm going to click create. So that would start a project in Unity. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video because I don't want to extend the time of the video until this opens up. Okay, so our project is opened. Now, as you can see, this is a clean slate, absolutely new project. There is nothing whatsoever. Okay, now how version control works. Okay, so you know how complex a Unity project would get. For example, it's according to the complexity of the game project you are working on. For example, I'm going to, this is a clean slate. This is a total starting of your project. Normally we would not push or commit this stage because there is nothing. This is a clean project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to commit. Okay, I'm going to show you how to commit the project now. So if you go to the source tree, since we have our Unity project already opened up and running, click on create button. That would ask you what is the destination path. Okay, now you need to understand what is the word repository means. Repository is nothing but an area you're allocating, more like a file cabinet where you can able to have different versions, or just imagine that you're sorting your album, okay, your album of photos in several years chronologically. So how would you actually take a photo that you have taken in the year of 2019? You would actually browse to that particular year, and you will go to the particular month, and you'll go to the particular date, and you'll actually pull the picture that you are looking for. So exactly, a repository is more like a cabinet that the source tree or any Git program uses in order to organize your project. So we need to create a new repository. Normally it's advisable to open the new repository right in the project. For example, if you know where this project is stored, the Unity project, show in Explorer, that will actually tell you where this is actually stored. You go to the source tree now, click on browse, go to the same location, and this is the project folder. Select the folder. Now this is exactly the same folder we have, and make sure, okay, so it automatically takes the project name from here. So if you want to change it, you can change it. Make sure it is selected as Git. Okay, so do not use this option as of now, and select create. Okay, so I'm going to create this. Now actually it will give you one error, not error, it's a warning. The destination path already exists. We know that. Okay, so don't worry about it, and select yes. Select yes. So that's creating the repository, and that was pretty quick. Okay, now the most important one. Okay, if you take a look at this, these are the files, okay, that is actually in your project. You know the size of your Unity project. Sometimes it goes, even an empty project of Unity will go up to 600 MB. Okay, that just because these library files and temporary files are the ones which will take most of the spaces. Can you take a look at it? How many library package file you have? These are refreshed by Unity every time you start Unity. If you don't trust me, what you could do is you could go to your Explorer. Okay, you close your Unity project and you delete the temporary file and your library. Okay, and open up your Unity project again. And if you come back to this location, you will be amazed to see this temporary folder and library folder are created again by the Unity. So what is the problem now is, I told you the repository is more like an organizing thing for a version control. It's not wise, okay, to actually take a backup of all of these files in every version of the project we are going to use, because we know these files are going to be created by Unity again. So what we're gonna do is we need to exclude certain files when we staging. Okay, what are called staging is, if you bring one file from the unstaged location to the staged location by using this button, and you press the commit button, okay, what you are actually telling your software is, please take a backup or please take a snapshot of the pictures, snapshot of the files that I have selected here, so that I can come back to these files if something goes wrong with my project. That's what staging means. So what we need to do now is, we should not stage all these unwanted temporary files, because that would be unwise and that would really take a lot of time. So what we need to do is, we need to exclude certain things. If you take a look at it, you right click a library file, okay, and click ignore. That will actually ask you, what would you like to ignore? This is the currently selected file. You can say ignore exact file names, but the wise thing would be selecting this option where you can ignore everything from the library. Okay, so I'm going to select ignore everything beneath the folder library. I click on OK. Now what happens is, if you go on the top, there is one very important file called gitignore has been created by your SourceTree repository software. So if you select on ignore, you can take a look at the currently the library folder is being ignored. Okay, now we need to do for everything. That is unwise. So what we need to do is, for a typical Unity project, okay, what are the files that needs to be ignored is already given to us, okay, by the people who have already working with Unity, okay, across the globe. Okay, and that git file is already being updated by every single version of Unity that is being released. So what we can do is, the easiest way is, take a copy of those things that needs to be ignored and paste it right here. So we will be actually having, okay, no trouble in going further. If this is confusing for you, what I'm going to do now is, I click on show on Explorer, okay, and I'm going to select Notepad. I drag and drop this to take a look at it. If you take a look at it, this is which is stored, okay, inside this file gitignore. What I'm going to do now is, I'm going to go for here, select gitignore for Unity. Just search like this in Google, okay, and the first link most probably will actually take you to this location, unity.gitignore by github.com. Select that, okay, and it take you to see the contributors, and this is the ignore file that every single Unity project should have. So what we need to do is, you click on this raw button, okay, that will show you like a notepad format, okay, Control A, Control C, so you have selected it, okay, go to this notepad that you have opened up from the SourceTree, Control A, delete everything, Control V, and just save it. Save and go back to the SourceTree. Now if you select it, can you see? This is the ignore list. Now we don't have to worry about anything. This ignore list has all the unwanted files that we don't want to stage. So now we can happily click on stage all, because as you can see, there is no library, no temporary files, no unwanted thing has been staged. So now that is done, come here, okay, and give a name, fresh version, or project start, and click on commit. Now what happened, if you take a look at it, if you go to the branches now if you see there is something called master that is created under branches. If you select that, you can take a look at it. These are the files that is being staged, and this is the settings that we have staged with the gitignore, and this is a master, which is the master is nothing but the current version. This is how a team will identify which version is current. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, now let's carry on with our project. So I have created a cube here, okay, so I have actually made them bigger, okay, and I have actually named it as, sorry, I just made another cube. Okay, I'll just move it a little bit, oops, over there. Okay, so I just made some changes to them. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I have created 2 cubes. So what I will do now, imagine you have, these are the changes you want to commit, okay, to your project. Once you're done with it, save the file, save. Okay, if you go to your source tree, wait for a while, okay, and it's loading, and you can see now after this stage there are some uncommitted changes happen to your project. Okay, so now if you want to commit it again, if you take a look at it, in this uncommitted changes, what are the which files have been changed? Okay, so what we need to do is you select, okay, stage selected, okay, and hang on a second, file status, yeah, it's ready to be staged. Okay, now give a name, 2 cubes, something that you could identify, commit. Okay, if you go to the master, and if you can see, project start is where you started. Okay, now the recent commit is a 2 cubes, and that's what the master label represents, and this is the current version. Okay, now I'm actually going to go back, okay, and I will carry on with what I'm doing. I'm gonna just change the name of this cube to primary. Okay, oops, primary, and I'm gonna just come here, change this name to secondary. All right, and I actually made a copy of this, okay, and I moved somewhere there, okay, and this is secondary one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the secondary as a child of primary, so the primary access is this one. So I've moved this here, okay, and I have actually created here a C# script. I say new, okay, so I have made a lot of changes here. This is, guys, this is a difference. See, you cannot undo these kind of micro and macro interactions you did to your project. It's impossible. But with the version control, you can, like a backup copy, you can go back to your project in a click of a button. Okay, now I have actually made this many changes. I have clicked save. I'm going back to the source tree, wait for it. Yep, it's loading. Now you can see you have uncommitted changes, and if you take a look at it, what are the things that has been changed from the previous version? You have created a CS file, a meta file, and the Unity file has been changed. So go to the file status, stage all, okay, and you create parented and code something, okay, commit. Okay, if you come back to your branches, if you take a look at it, your project was started here, then you actually committed 2 cubes stage, then you have committed parented and code. Now if something goes wrong with the parented and code stage, how you can roll back? Okay, if you go back here, this is what the current version is, but I made something terribly wrong in the current version. I want to go back and start afresh. So for that, right click, okay, and you say reverse commit. Can you see this option, reverse commit? So in the current version, go for reverse commit, and it will say, are you sure? And you say yes if you are sure. Okay, now what happens is reverted to parented and code. If you open up your Unity, okay, so it's saying reload scripts assemblies. It will say, hey man, something changed, would you like to reload the scene? And you say yes, and you know what, your project has been time traveled, okay, to a stage where you did not do any of those future. You just like time traveling. Okay, you just gone back to one step in your whole project. Everything that you did, okay, every single micro macro interactions you did with your project has been, okay, reversed. Now can you do this with an undo function? I don't think so. All right, so this is how, okay, your project version control works. So imagine how amazing it would be if 10 of you guys as a team working on a project, all of you guys can be in the same page. Okay, now if you have one question, hey man, why you are why are you actually complicating the things with me. I'm a single developer. I used to save my project in different names like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. This looks too complicated for me. If that is your comment, let me tell you one thing. Okay, every time you save a project, you are saving the files of library, temporary files, and you are increasing your disk space for no reason in every single project save. Okay, that is not viable in a long run. Second one, if you're working on a team, you are going to be in a trouble. Every time you need to, in a network system, you need to put your project files, sharing with others. You know what? It's gonna be hectic. Okay, and this is what I wanted to tell you. Why do we need version control? As I mentioned before, in a long run, it is not possible for us to keep saving our projects in different names. That is not a correct method. Okay, then while working with the team, version control do wonders. I already mentioned that. Okay, so it also ensures you and your teammates are on the same page. Every one of you guys, you can commit at the same time according to the timestamp and to the latest version of the files that has been changed. The latest commit would be labeled as master, so every others will be using the same version of the file, and it will ensure that all of you guys in the same page. Okay, so I think I have actually introduced you using SourceTree. Take a look at it. When you go ahead, nothing would go wrong. Okay, do not try with your current project if you are not sure. Okay, just go ahead and create a new Unity project and understand how SourceTree works. Then please use it when you're using Unity project. You would thank me later. Okay, so if you have come this far in this video, I think you have liked what I'm actually telling you. So just one last request, please do subscribe to my channel if you would like to have a lot of other information coming your way. And thank you so much for your patronship, and I wish you all the best in anything that you do in your life. Okay, so thank you so much guys. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.